welcome to FM 100 WNOX. I'm Catherine Howell. I am here with our candidates for Knox County Commission District 9, Seat A. And we have our Democratic candidate, Chuck Ward. Am I correct in that?
That's correct.
And our Republican candidate, Mike Brown.
True.
Okay. Well, I'm going to start off with the same question I've asked pretty much every candidate starting off, and that is, why do you want the job? Why are you in this whole mess? I'm going to start with you, Chuck.
With me. Well, you know, South Knoxville has always been a passion of mine. We've talked about this on several interviews, and know a lot of the folks in the area. And I just feel like that by being young and aggressive and being a great listener and a great communicator, that I bring a lot to the table for South Knoxville. I've owned a couple of businesses there in South Knoxville, and by owning those businesses, met several people that live in the area through the years and just learned their concerns and learned to listen to what they're actually wanting for South Knoxville, what they don't like for South Knoxville. And some of my previous background, I feel like, will play heavy on what I can do for County Commission.
Mr. Brown.
Well, why did I get in the race? I, along with a lot of other people, as we call Black Wednesday a year and a half ago now, finally got to the point where I was fed up. And it's time to do something about it. So I decided to put my hat in the ring. I recently retired out of the life insurance business after 37 years. I have some time to do that now. I've been active in my community for all of that last 37 years. I founded the Southville Area Homeowners Association out there back in the 70s, and I've been active in it ever since as a spokesperson and Don Quixote for the neighborhood and the south end of the county out there. My business background, as I mentioned, was in the life insurance business, and in that I, like Chuck, met a lot of people all over, not only South Knoxville, but all of the rest of East Tennessee too. And I've previously served a term on the Metropolitan Planning Commission. I've worked on a previous charter commission. I've spent 8 years on a beautification board. I'm a charter member and current board member of the South Knox Seymour Chamber of Commerce. Stayed active in the community, and I believe that I've got a lot to give back to the community yet.
I want to start with what is going on currently in Knox County Commission, and then we'll move on to what your plans are and other things that you have to offer. But for the past couple of years, there has been a lot of chaos in County Commission and in county government, for that matter, regarding term limits, the sunshine suit, appointments that were thrown out, and now these audits. What do you think, first of all, should happen regarding the mayor, and how do we move forward from this point? I'll start with you again, Mr. Ward.
Well, and I've said this a lot of times, I feel like that, not being on County Commission, I've not actually seen the paperwork or got to view some of the things that the other commissioners have. If there's been some wrongdoing, I feel like there should be some punishment handed down. Obviously, you're representing the citizens of Knox County. You're representing the voters, the people that have trusted you and put you in office. So if you've misused county funds in any way, it's wrong, and there should be somebody stand accountable for it. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about what has taken place to this point as far as what's proposed that's been misused or what hasn't, but if there's been county funds misused, then obviously somebody should be held accountable for it.
How do we move forward from where we are at this point? Is it the holding someone accountable that will move us forward, or is it just a mentality? What do we do at this point to go forward?
Well, I think a couple of things. Obviously, holding people accountable. I think we've already started to do that. I think that's going to surface more and more daily, that we're holding people accountable, and there's going to be some more people that's held accountable. And trying to not forget it, but to move on and restore the faith in county government. We have been so... for so long, it's been so depressing, and there's not any good news coming from county government, that we need to put that behind us and get fresh faces in there, move on with life, get that behind us, try to develop new relationships where that we're not dealing with the same old, well, we've done this now or we've done that. Back to restoring our government the way that it needs to be run.
Same question to you. What do you think should happen with the mayor, first of all, Mr. Brown, and then also, how do we move forward from this point?
Well, I think we need to do as much as we can to get the investigation continuing. to get the true facts of the matter. Like Chuck said, we're not privy to a lot of the information that they are, but I believe that there are some causes for concern, and I too feel like that anyone elected to public office needs to be held accountable. It may be that in a couple of cases on some of these folks, they've jumped too quickly to kind of sweep it under the rug, but I feel like that with this investigation going on, there's going to be things brought out that the voting public needs to hear, and I think, like Chuck, that there needs to be an accountability, and if punishment is required, then punishment should be given. How do we move on from there? As we mentioned earlier, the last year and a half has been kind of chaotic as far as in our local government is concerned, but I think you're going to see some of that. First off, let me say, it wasn't created overnight, and I don't think you can have a simple solution overnight. But I believe that after this next election, where that we have folks in all of these offices who have now been elected by the people, it's going to have somewhat of a calming effect. I think that the new group coming in needs to take a hard look at some of these things, whatever this investigation brings up, and get it taken care of, and let's get on with doing the business of the county, because we're right now working kind of like they do in Washington. They sit around all day long figuring out who they can do what to the other side, and the business of the public, that's us voters out here, gets kind of left behind. So I think we need to get back to doing the business of the county. We've got some serious issues we need to address.
Well, on that same line, you all are at least potentially, seeking the seat to represent South Knoxville, or at least a good deal of it, in the 9th District. Now, Victoria DeFries and Paul Pinkston have really been outspoken on the county commission as far as requesting that the mayor be removed, requesting that there be a formal investigation. Is this, and this is only me asking your opinion on this, but as you've talked to people in South Knoxville and your constituents out there, is this the consensus of the people in South Knoxville, or is this more of a personal issue with Mr. DeFries and Mr. Pinkston, in your opinion? And I'm going to start with you, Mr. Brown.
Well, I can't speak for either of them, but as I mentioned to a group last night, anytime something like this comes up, I think we owe it to both sides to get the facts first, get them all out on the table where they can be looked at, and then a decision made from there. I think in some cases, in order to try to get things moving along, maybe they have, I should say, moved a little fast on some things. I don't think all of the information was out there. Myself, my own personal opinion is there are several causes for concern yet that need to be answered, and I think that the people that I've talked to in the district feel the same way.
People that I've talked to, and like Mike said, a couple of them were talking about it last night at a meeting we were at, they're tired of hearing about it. They're not, totally against what Commissioner Pinkston and Commissioner DeFries have done. Some of them are for that and with them 100%. But most of what I've been hearing is people are tired of it. They're tired of it being in the news. They're tired of, listening to it over and over and over. They're ready to move on. They're ready for a change. And they kind of have the same consensus that I had. If there's wrongdoing, it's going to surface. I had a guy tell me the other day, he said, well, I just don't feel like those two can single-handedly solve this problem. And he said, I'm applauding the job that they've done. He said, but I just don't feel like they can single-handedly solve this problem. It's going to take more than them and more involvement.
Well, speaking of moving on, let's do so. I want to talk about the South Waterfront. It's kind of exciting to me that we're going to be doing something completely new, and that we're actually coming up with a plan for the whole thing. Tell me what your vision is for South Knoxville, and what you like and dislike about some of the plans that are being made thus far. And I do want to start with you, Mr. Ward.
Okay. I'm like you. I'm thrilled to death about the South Knoxville Waterfront. I have been since day one, since they made the initial plans to bring the South Knoxville Waterfront to us.